Hey, this was a really good match, and I wanted to show my friends, but I realized they might not know what's going on, so I decided to give some commentary on what's going on. So, starting hand, we're going to go left to right. We have Marmiting Captain. Basically, when that card is normal summon, I can take a card from my hand, put it back in my deck, shuffle my deck, draw another card. If it's a monster, then I can special summon it. Then to the right of him, we have Aether, the Hamley Monarch. When she is tribute summoned, I can send 2 Monarch Speller Traps from my deck to the graveyard, and then I can special summon another monster with 2400 or more attack. And I can also do this on my opponent's turn by banishing 1 Monarch Speller Trap from my graveyard. So basically, you take it out the graveyard, remove it from play. So she's good to have in a hand to like mess up what my opponent has going on during his turn. Then we have Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Same thing as Aether. I can send 2 Monarch Speller Traps from my deck to the graveyard, but he allows me to shuffle one of my opponent's cards back into the deck, so I can take some away from them, put it back in the deck. And then if he's in the graveyard, I can send a Monarch Speller Trap from my hand to the graveyard, and then that would allow me to add one of my 2400 or more attack monsters from the graveyard back to my hand. So he's good because you can put him out, tribute him, he'll get in the graveyard, and you can like recycle your monsters, or you can get him back out the graveyard. He's real good for that. Next card we have is Tenacity of the Monarchs. Is the blue card. Basically, I can show my opponent that I have a 2400 or more attack monster in my hand, and then I can add a Monarch Speller Trap from my deck to my hand. So basically, I use the deflects, show my opponent what's in my hand real quick, and then add what I need from my deck to my hand. Then to the right of that, the pink card, pink purple, that's Prime Monarch. Basically what Prime Monarch does is it allows me to take 2 Monarch Speller Traps from my graveyard, put them back in my deck, shuffle, then draw another card. So it's really good because, as you see, the other 2 cards, they're taking on my Monarch Speller Traps and putting them in the graveyard. But with this card, I can get them back and then get another card. But then it has a secondary effect where if it's in the graveyard, I can banish a Monarch Speller Trap and special summon this card as a monster. So basically, if my opponent gets rid of this, or if I get rid of it and it's in the graveyard, I can keep bringing it back as a monster and using it to tribute, bring out my big monsters and stuff. So it's really good. So at this point, I'm not really liking my hand because I have 2 level 8 monsters which need 2 tributes, and I really don't have like a way to get them out right now. And the only way would be to use Tenacity of the Monarchs and get Storm Forth, which allows me to tribute one of my opponent's monsters. But that scares me because if the only way is a card that can be negated, then it's kind of like iffy. And I'm watching my opponent do all this XZ summoning, and I'm worried about what quick effects his monsters have that would negate stuff. So I keep checking his monsters. There's like, does this negate this stuff? Does this negate stuff? When it, what's doing what? So I'm just like watching what he has going on to see like if he can like negate or like destroy my cards. Like I'm just like watching what he's doing. So you can like pause and like read their effects to see what I'm like seeing. The only one that like got me worried was like the last one, because that can negate spells. So I do a play here. So the card I was talking about, Monarch Storm Forth, basically here I drew it, and so I didn't have to use Tenacity to get to it. But because I had Tenacity, I know I can get it back, and I can get whatever I need. So I use Storm Forth because I know it's a scary card, to get him to use that negation effect, because that's the only thing that can negate anything that's going on. So I get him to use that negation effect right here, and then I can go in to the rest of what I need to do a little bit unworried. Alright, so like I said, I had to make a play here. He negated Stormforth, which I don't need because I have two big monsters in my hand. Level 8, they need 2 tributes. I really can't tribute anything right now. So my game plan is to get Domain of the Monarchs. Domain of the Monarchs is a field spell. It lets me lower level 8 monsters by 2 levels, make them level 6, so they only need 1 tribute. And it also blocks my opponent from special summoning like he's doing right now from the extra deck if I have a tribute monster and I'm the only one with a tribute monster. And then it also lets my tribute summon monsters, when they attack, gain 800 attack points. So super broken, is exactly what I need. So when I activated Tenacity, he activated another effect that lets him pull out an Aziz monster. That's fine. All I needed was Pantheism because I need more cards in my hand to make a play with. Pantheism, I can put Prime Monarch from my hand to the graveyard, which I did, and draw 2 cards. I drew Link Slayer and Foolish Burial. Link Slayer can special summon itself to the field, which is what I was talking about that I need. I need something to special summon itself. Foolish Burial lets me put something from my deck to the graveyard, and I use it to put Idola. Idola allows me to add a banish spell or trap back to my hand. Pantheism was banished because when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to pull out 3 spell or traps, show them to your opponent. Your opponent picks one, you add it to your hand. I picked 2 Stormforce, so he would pick Domain, but he didn't want to pick Domain, he picked Stormforce. So with Pantheism again, I reused Pantheism, and this time I drew Domain. So I really got lucky there with that draw, and now I can bring out Aether. And with Aether, I bring out Curaz. Curaz can destroy 2 cards on the field. So I picked these 2 monsters. They got no protection, so they just pop. But when he destroys cards with his effect, whatever cards I destroy, that person gets to draw cards. So it's kind of risk reward. And he also can't attack, so it's like whatever. But he's back in my hand now. So my opponent did all that special summoning, basically 1 turn, big brain. I got rid of all those monsters, left him with 1, and now he kind of has to make a play here. And he uses this effect that basically he can remove 2 materials and double his monster's attack and attack my monster. So that's why he beat Aether right there and got rid of Aether, which is fine. We really didn't need her. Alright, so my opponent gets back to making his plays. As I'm watching that, I'm like, alright, damn, all this special summoning he can do, he can keep his monsters just keep coming back from the graveyard. I'm gonna have to shut that down. So in my head, I'm like, alright, my route here needs to be to shut down these monster effects. And I have a card in my deck called Majesty's Fiend, and basically neither one of us can activate monster effects. So that's gonna be what I'm trying to work towards to get that out. It's really good when you have that card, Majesty's Fiend, and Domain on the field, because basically your opponent can't special summon anything, they can't activate their effects. It really locks them down. But he just destroyed Domain, so now I gotta work towards it. This card I just drew, Return of the Monarchs. When I tribute a monster, I can add a 2400 or 2800 attack monster from my deck to my hand. So it's really good for you tribute one, then you can get another one in your hand that you need. So that's going to be how I get to Majesty's Fiend. But I don't want to go immediately into him because he's only 2400 attack. As you see, that monster is 2500. So it's like I don't want to just leave him out on the field unprotected. So I get Aether instead, because I can tribute her on my opponent's turn. So basically I'm thinking, okay, whatever he has going on, I'm going to let it get to a certain point, but then I'm going to get rid of his monsters so he can't do all that XZ summoning again. So here I bring out Aether, and I bring out another Cuirass, and get rid of his two monsters that have effects. I don't get rid of the middle card, Armageddon Knight, because this effect is only when it's normal summon, so it's really irrelevant and it has low attack. So that's why I popped the other two cards. And then as you see, I got Majesty's Fiend in my hand from that summon. So this next play, I'm like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? I'm just like, you know what? I just need to shut down his monster effects. He Ash Blossoms Tenacity. I really only did Tenacity just to see what's in his hand. Like I really didn't need it. But right now I'm just like, once I saw that Ash, I'm like, okay, just straight. Let's just shut down what he got going on. And I add Cellar Glare, the Luminous Dragon, to my hand because if he gets rid of Majesty Fiend, I can pull out Cellar Glare, and Cellar Glare can like snatch one of his monsters. So that's really alright. So here is going to go by really fast, but this is the end of the duel. Basically, he brings out Summoner Monk, and Summoner Monk, when it's summoned, you can like special summon another monster. So he was trying to make a play, but you can tell he didn't read Majesty Fiend. Like he really didn't take what I had on the field serious. So he brought that out. It's an 800 attack monster, and he was shut down. There was nothing else he could do. He couldn't do his special summoning from the graveyard, couldn't do anything with Summoner Monk. So I turned that around really hard, made a bunch of big brain plays, and he had to scoop. You see, he surrendered, and that's GG's. So J Keat 27. I'm just too smart. Like that right there told me that he just had like a good deck, but he didn't know how to like play. Like that's what that told me.